Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the world premiere of the OpenShift Container Storage office hours. I am joined today by the one and only Chris Blum, to talk about all things OpenShift storage. And it's very pertinent to me right now because I am very much a storage novice. I spent a lot of years in ops, a lot of years avoiding anything but like RAID configuration on small systems kind of thing, right? Like I've never gotten into the big iron storage world. So it's kind of great to have Chris on right now. So Chris, please introduce yourself and tell folks what you do here at Red Hat.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Chris Blum, and I'm a senior architect in Storage BU. And I kind of like help out whenever there's a need. I come from our consulting side. So I've been on site with a couple of customers back when we also did a lot of RHGS and RHCS gigs, and now I'm mostly focused on OCS and our OpenShift side of the business, and help on how I can.
Yeah, so we are we're going to start using some tools here on the channel to kind of more interact with you better, right? So today on the screen, what you see in front of you is a wonderful poll, and you don't have to take it, but basically, if you go to this site, minty.com, and use the code here 4112773, you can tell us what kind of infrastructure you're running on, and that kind of gives us a good idea of what kind of storage solutions you might want to talk about on the show, right? And other shows potentially. So we've acquired this tool to help y'all, kind of help the channel kind of thing. So yeah, like me being the storage novice, I am very much deploying on bare metal, so I need to go there and I need to actually use our slides that we created. Um, and I wish I could just copy and paste this into chat somehow.
Yeah, what I also like about this presentation thing is that it has such a cool animation when someone comes around and then they just click a platform, and you can select all the platforms that you're using.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
just
matter.
adds a bubble.
Yeah, like it's just a growing bubble. And I have that now in chat for everybody. Thank you. So let me go do that real quick because I am using bare metal. But that's why we're curious, because Chris and I were kind of talking, right? Like we had an idea, yeah, we need to talk more about storage in general because it's becoming more and more like we're not doing 12-factor apps, we're seeing, right? Like we're seeing a lot of persistence happening in the wonderful world of Kubernetes. So the idea of having a show all about storage was very intriguing to me because I'm an absolute storage idiot, right? So like I was explaining to my wife this morning, right? Like on the scale of like, beginner to expert, I'm like somewhere here. So I like to think of myself as, knowledgeable that physics are involved at some point, and that's where I kind of draw my line. The physics
Yeah,
of
it
things
was
is
funny how that conversation started. Like I was reaching out to Chris and said, "Well, your shows, they're all great, and I want to participate in that." And he he put me on the spot. Usually, I record videos and I cut out
right.
all these things that take time and all that. And he said, "Let's do it live, and you ought to show me how that works." And I think we're going to do that today, right?
Yeah. So, we've got some clusters spun up here in various places. I think mine is back online. Let me double check real quick. But you have two clusters, I think, right? You said one with
Yep.
OCS installed, one without it, right? So we can kind of have the cooking show kind of thing going here. Yes,
Yeah,
my
it's
cluster's
kind of
back as
like a
well.
cooking
So
show.
yeah. So like we've got my bare metal cluster here too as well to hack upon if we just so desire. And yeah, we've got a lot of Kubernetes available to us, and we've got a storage expert on the line. So let's chat. Let's talk. So Chris, what do you want to show off, particularly about OpenShift Container Storage and what OCS can do for customers.
Well, the cool thing about OCS4 is that we actually listen to our customers, and we can now say that OCS4 is super simple. And it isn't super simple because it is super simple. It's super simple despite having so many features and so much under the hood. And I think we actually did a very good job at combining both worlds. The worlds of almost endless possibilities where we have Steph that a lot of people have already asked us about, hey, I want to use Steph with OpenShift and Kubernetes. And previously with OCS3, we had cluster. And now that we have Steph, we have a lot more opportunities to do fast storage and storage with a lot of features that can scale out to pretty much endlessly. But on the other hand, it's super simple, and that's what I want to show today with Chris, that you can install it without actually having to worry a lot about what you're doing. It's pretty guided, and there's not a lot you can do wrong. And then you have a cluster up and running in no time, and then you can use it to do whatever you want.
Right. And I think the biggest thing to me is that, like, there's so much that just turning on that storage piece can enable for everyone, right? Like, and it cracks that second layer to go from, okay, these containers are just running kind of ephemerally, to now I can actually put some real apps on here and put some real workloads on this cluster, right? Like, and off we go into the wild blue yonder kind of deal. So yeah, like we're seeing a nice participation here, but mainly bare metal, vSphere, Rev, Azure, AWS is what it looks like right now on your little poll here, which is very interesting to see. Yeah.
It's good to see that so many people are deploying directly on bare metal. So
yeah,
that's cool.
that's kind of like the best way to get the most out of your infrastructure is just to use it like straight up bare metal style. But we haven't necessarily seen that in the Kubernetes world. We've always seen like, oh yeah, I'm running on top of AWS or vSphere or something else, right? So it's very refreshing to see that a lot of people are running bare metal right now. So yeah, this is cool. I like that.
And the other cool thing is that wherever you are on which platform, the installation of OCS will pretty much look the same everywhere. And then you can consume whatever storage you have available. Like when you're running on a public cloud, they usually offer storage. Like on AWS, we can use EBS storage as a backend. But then when we're on bare metal, we can use whatever is available on bare metal.
Right. Yeah. So like there's so much that you can actually connect to bare metal, right? Like fiber channel, iSCSI, all kinds of fun stuff that you can do with it. But also, in my use case, local storage, because I have a lot of fast disks that are actually on that node that's running my cluster right now. It'd be nice to utilize some of that too in a larger cluster of things, right? Like thinking about it more holistically, right? Like you're never going to have more than like 80% of your disk in use, right? If you do it right. Right. So like take that extra storage from the bare metal pieces and see where you can like add on just a little bit, maybe a faster storage tier for some of your applications potentially, right? Like things like that really intrigue me. Like the ability to like take slices of storage and use them in different ways and different profiles, that I really love.
And the other thing is that with OCS, you take whatever's underneath, and then you get a homogeneous interface towards your application. So it will always look the same way. And like you, with your bare metal cluster, you only have your disks. And then when you would use them directly, you would probably use a host path, or you would forward a particular disk directly as a block device. And then that would only allow you to do an RWO or an RWX while the pods are on the same node, right, at the same time. But then when you add OCS, you also get true RWX storage that that multiple pods can use in parallel, wherever they are, if they're in different nodes or not. And you also get the object storage. Now, we do actually see that object storage becomes more and more important to people as the app developers they go forward with that, coming from all the file-based things where they were using NFS or Samba shares, but now they realize it's easier to scale when you have an object storage.
Yeah. Like object versus file versus block, like all that matters now. And having something there to help me manage it would help me a lot.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to look at today.
Cool.
Where we're going to look at how you install that, how you use it. We do have a little guide that we sometimes do on our workshops, and it's available out there on the internet, so anyone can use it. And it describes how you would install OCS on an AWS cluster.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has a couple of example applications that can leverage the different storage types that are offered by OCS.
Yeah, is that over at learn.openshift.com? I can drop a link over to that real quick.
We do have things in learn.openshift.com. The one that's there is very similar, but the one we're going to look at is a little more
custom tailored for the show, maybe. For the audience, maybe.
I'd like to say yes, but no. This is just our this is just our regular workshop thing. The difference is on learn.openshift.com, our environment is so limited that and it's limited to not only the CPU and memory, but also the 1 hour that you can use the one environment. So this workshop thing, if you would seriously do it, it would take you more than an hour.
Right. Well, yeah, I think that's fair. So I'm trying to log into Restream chat. It's giving me a hard time right now. Let me drop the link to learn just in case. And this workshop is kind of custom just for us, but yeah, let me go ahead and share that, right? Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah, and then in there, you will find one of the categories is persistence. And then the persistent things, adding persistence to OpenShift, and that's our 2 courses. The one is just a very basic one that is called making persistent storage calls in your application. That's yeah. So Chris is just opening it up.
Yep. Sorry. What is it? Building, adding persistence.
Yep, that one. And then yeah, the left one is the basic one where it automatically installs OCS for you, and then the guides will guide you a little bit through the examples. That will be pretty similar to what I've planned for Chris today. And the other one is from my colleague Karan, and that's persistent storage for Elasticsearch, where he has it's a pretty cool demo of using persistent storage with Elasticsearch to yeah, do some analytics.
Yeah, so these are there's some questions in chat. Are these all free? Yes, learn.openshift.com is open to the public, 100% free for everybody. You can do, there's even an OpenShift. Let me back up one level here. There is an OpenShift playground where you just get your own cluster for an hour, and yeah, you pick which version you want, and off you go. You can kick all the tires on whatever you want for an hour. But today, Chris has set up a very special thing just for us. I'm just going to keep saying that because it makes me feel better, Chris.
No, in that case, it is a special thing. This is one of my hobby projects. I call it Go Room, and it just combines. It's just an iframe of a document on the left side and a terminal and the OpenShift console on the right side. And it looks very similar to Katacoda, but it actually runs on one of our clusters. So we do have a lot more resources available that we would have in Catacode.
Yeah, so someone's asking, would this version run on OKD or is it enterprise only? I believe OCS would theoretically work on OKD, but I don't think you would get support for it in that configuration. But there is an upstream project for all of the OCS stuff that you could use with OKD. What is the, I forget the overarching org. Rook, yeah. Sorry. So yeah, that's just the Rook project itself.
Yeah, so OCS is actually a combination of what you would get with Rook Ceph, and the other part is Nuba, which the downstream product is called the multi-cloud gateway. It's a gateway that can use in front of multiple different S3 endpoints. So you can have one S3 endpoint and the multi-cloud gateway, and that will automatically, based on what you configure, do a couple of magic like deduplication, compression, or just replicating it out to different S3 endpoints. Like you can automatically replicate to AWS and Azure, and whenever one of these goes down, you can read from the other one.
Beautiful thing. Yeah, the Nuba piece is really, really nice, I feel like, right? Like it was just like the cherry on top, right? Like Rook Ceph is great, but like adding that Nuba piece as part of the whole package, nice. Good job. I like that. All right, so we diving in here?
So can you
get our hands
can you go to the Perf 4?
Sorry, which one?
The URL Perf 4.
Perf 4. Oh, got it. Hang on.
As you said, we do have 2 clusters available, and Perf 4 is the one I just installed. I didn't really do anything. Just made sure that there are not too much errors in the web UI.
I did have to restart my cluster this morning.
I did. The problem
so
is
I was doing some work with Serena on the developer experience office hours, and her cluster like completely, she accidentally destroyed it, or something happened with it to where it was just like unresponsive for long enough for us to be like, okay, who's got a new cluster? And I was like, okay, fine, we can use mine. There's nothing crucial on it yet, and if I have to blow it away, no big deal. But it did. We were mucking with the console itself, so when I undid everything, I actually ended up having, for some reason, like the console was just completely unresponsive, even though I kept like restarting the pods and nothing was happening. So I ended up just restarting the whole box and everything's fine now. It's pretty great. So yeah, now we are on here with OCS training. Where are we going here?
So first, can you go to the console on the right? And then we're just going to install OCS briefly.
Let me just increase my font just a little bit, just so make sure everyone can see. Okay, there we go. Let's install.
So you go to the console on the right. And then, yeah, exactly. And then you go to operators, operator hub.
Yeah. So this is how you would do it. Quote, the normal way, right? Like the least path of resistance way, I guess is the right way to call it.
So this is just one of our labs. This is based on vSphere. So we do have one of the default storage classes available. And yeah, there you go. That's container storage.
Yeah, so I click install, it's full 3 full lifecycle operator. So that's pretty awesome. It'll take care of itself. So install it. I got to pick which version. So we are on 4.5, correct?
Yep.
That's what we want. And oh, there, now it scrolls down for me. Here we go. And I think all the defaults are sane, right?
Can you tick that monitoring checkbox?
Oh,
yep.
Yes. Okay, and off we go. Why isn't that checked by default?
I don't know. but it says it's
I feel like I would want monitoring if I was installing this via the operator, right? Like that's just my feedback.
Well, yeah. but you can
Whatever.
always add that by default. It's just an annotation to the namespace.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to pop over to the events tab over here in the OpenShift storage project, and we should see, hopefully, things happening.
Yeah, so this will install the so-called meta operator of OCS that actually operates on to other operators, the Ceph operator and the operator for the multi-cloud gateway.
Right.
And once we have that, we go forward, and this doesn't provide storage by itself. So we just install the operator, which gives us the opportunity to install a storage.
Right. This gives us the means to do a number of things to install storage, right? So it's not like you install this and all of a sudden you have storage somewhere, right? Like it's not quite that easy yet.
Well,
and I don't think it'll ever be that easy, to be honest with you, because everybody's setup is kind of like bespoke to some degree, right? Like we saw in our survey, right? Like we had 6 people on vSphere and 5 people on bare metal, right? Like they're not going to pick the same options, you know?
It's now 7 people on vSphere, actually.
Oh, wow.
5 on bare metal. Yeah,
Okay.
so the vSphere people can run.
Yeah. No, I dropped it twice in chat. I'll drop it again just in case everybody didn't get it for a third time.
So if you go to all instances,
yeah, give me just two. Oh, come on, where did it? Never mind. All right, there. All right, 2 seconds.
Well, while you're busy with that, there's a question.
No, go ahead.
Why would I run OCS when running on AWS, which offers EBS?
Which offers EBS. Sure.
Yeah. I do get that question a lot, especially because developers just say, like, I just need some storage and I don't really care where it comes from. But
most ops guys
in the long run, in the long run, you start to care about that because EBS doesn't allow you to do a lot of the storage magic that you sometimes need, like with Ceph, you have the storage that can span the availability zones in AWS, for example. So we've often seen that availability zones can go down. Fortunately, it happens rarely enough, but we do see that. With OCS, you can then replicate that storage across availability zones. And even if the availability zone goes down, you don't even notice because the storage is available in all the others.
Even if the latency is high in that availability zone, you don't even notice, right? Like it goes even that far, right? Yeah, like like you can put thresholds in, I believe, and tune it to how you need it, which is kind of beautiful, I think.
And then you have the other things that I talked about earlier, where it looks the same in all platforms. So you don't have to think about, okay, what's the name of my storage class now, because I'm now in Azure. It's the same name for the same storage class, behaves exactly the same. It handles that different underlying. So maybe let's continue with the installation. So now we do see that the operators are installed. I think you can see it when you click on all instances, just to make sure.
Yes.
No.
No operands found, but we can definitely create some new storage ones.
Yeah. Can you create a new storage cluster? So now this is how you would create a new storage cluster. So basically, you tell OCS where does it get the storage from, and how do you want to customize it. So for this, we're just going to use internal mode, which means the storage nodes that will produce the storage to our cluster will be inside of the OpenShift cluster. You can also use external. Then when you already have an Ceph storage somewhere outside, you can hook that up to your OCS cluster and automatically use that. And that sometimes gives a better performance and you can completely separate the scale out of your storage and your OpenShift cluster. But for now,
so would you recommend, like just out of curiosity, right? Like, I'm going to ask this question, and I'm not watching chat stupidly. But like, I'm going to ask this question: would you recommend, like, for a large scale storage kind of setup, like, to have like just an OCS cluster with just a ton of disk available, right? And like Ceph is on there, maybe someplace else in your infrastructure, and like what is like the enterprise size proper scaling? Because I noticed, right, like there's these minimum requirements, but I'm like, how big can this thing get then? If this is the minimum, what is the maximum, right? Like, how much can we throw at this?
well, with this minimum deployment, we're currently targeting to have 1,500 PVs in your cluster. So that's already quite a size. Our intention was, okay, we want to make OCS very simple. So out of the box, it can already scale pretty far. And then when you need more nodes, you can just extend it. We can go through that in a bit, but for now, we're just going to do the internal mode, 3 nodes. You just tick the boxes, like any nodes you want. They're all the same.
There we go. We'll just
Perfect.
do that.
And then down there, so like this is our default storage class right now. We're on vSphere. And whatever you want for the capacity. So we start out with 2. It's a standard deployment. And that will be our increment size in the future. So we will end up with 2 terabytes of usable storage. So each of these 3 nodes will have a 2 terabyte disk attached to it.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So hit create and off we go. Uh-oh. Not found.
Obviously, it's a live demo, right?
Right. Like, no, but this is the problem I'm having.
This is very weird.
Yes. This is why I sent you the screenshot. I was like, dude, I don't know what's happening here. It's like nothing's happening. I mean, it tries to do something, but yeah. There's no like.
Can you try to click the button again?
Yeah, no, I definitely have. Let me change a variable here. Yeah, nothing. So this is the beauty of live demos, Chris.
This,
we get to troubleshoot this. Let's do this. Let's see if like that helps. Nope. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go back to the original and nada. All right. So how do we debug?
Well, this is an error in the console. So usually to debug that, we would probably go to the developer tools.
Okay.
But if you want, I can send you the link to have just the developer tools, just the console. Would make it easier to debug.
Oh, yeah. Send me that. Sending me that as a question. Send it to me in Slack if you don't
mind. That's per 4.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, never mind. Oh, come on, Slack. Don't do your thing now. Okay, thank you.
Is it trying to eat the rest of your RAM?
It's trying to update itself.
Oh.
Jeez. Of course. It never fails. Hurry up. Or Slack disappears and I lose the username and password. Oh, it's back anyway. Okay, we're good. Where is this cluster out of curiosity?
Bangalore.
Okay. That's why it's so slow. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Actually, the hardware is crazy fast, but the network connection is not too good in the location.
Yeah. Now, if you're, I've learned from running global websites that we the U.S. companies tend to not put a lot of effort into getting great connectivity between us and like Africa and India. It's weird. Like there's a lot of fiber there, but it's not low latency, it feels like. Oh well.
So can you go back to the installed operator?
Yeah. And by now it's moving along. All instances, nothing there. Okay. So you want to run back through this?
Yeah. Just try your luck, and then we'll just see what's on the JavaScript console.
You want me to go ahead and pop that open now, or?
I don't know. Just try it.
Oh, well, it actually worked that time. Okay.
Well,
duly noted.
It probably noticed that we're watching, and then
yeah. It got the memo.
Please don't look closer.
If you look under the hood of me.
No. There's a slight chance. Like I said, it's a hobby project. What I did with the iframes. And,
yeah, so it's entirely possible that like, let me close this. That like this iframe is causing like some JS error kind of deal, and like I've got, what is this? I believe, yeah, this is Chrome with Privacy Badger on, but it's not blocking anything. So who knows what actually happened here in this iframe? But yeah, everything's slow all of a sudden. Anyways, there you go.
So yeah, what's going on under the hood is now. Can you go back to the Go room, the first tab?
Yep.
And then what you could do is we could watch in the terminal, or you can also watch it in the console, the pods that are being created in the OpenShift storage namespace.
OC get pods. It's definitely doing some fun stuff. RxF.
Yeah, this is probably too. The terminal is probably too small now. The zoomed in.
Hang on.
Watch all the.
All right, that's back to normal. Yeah, hang on. Oh God.
What if we?
There's like
what if we
3,
just
4
watch
scroll bars here? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. What is the best way to watch pods?
You go to workloads and then pods, and then you go to project. OpenShift storage, yeah. Okay. And then you see that
here we go.
These are all running, and there's some initializations there. So the CSI things are so-called daemon sets. So you will have as many of those as you have nodes, and they will just be ready there to mount a storage and do the thing that under the hood to connect the storage cluster with your pods. And then what do we have down there? We have the crash collector. Something goes wrong. We have the operators that manage the whole deployment. And then all the way down, we have the monitors. These are Ceph components. You see those, Rook Ceph Mon. We have 3 of those. They're watching the state of the storage cluster, monitor the whole thing so that all of the components of the Ceph clusters are well in order.
Nice. That's always a good thing. Okay, still got that.
And then what will come next are the OSDs, and they will mount local storage that they get from the thin storage cluster storage.
So that 2 terabyte number, that's what's kind of fuzzy. Like, what is actually happening when I select half a terabyte, 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes? Like, what is going on behind the scenes there? Is it
Let's
actually
see if we can
provisioning
already
that
see that.
storage? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you go on the burger menu on the left? Can you go down to storage and then select persistent volume claims?
Sure thing.
So we have two different kinds of PVCs there. One kind is the monitors, so like I just explained, and then we have the data PVCs, and these are all 2 terabytes. And we have that 3 times because we have a 3 times replication. And we use that to ensure data consistency. And
Cool.
by default, we try to find out where our nodes are located. Like if you were to deploy this on AWS, then OCS would automatically understand in which availability zones they are, and then arrange the data so that the data is replicated across the availability zones as far apart as possible, so that whatever happens to one part of your cluster, your data is safe.
I always like my data to be safe. All right. I mean, so it looks like all this is bound. Got that right there for Nuba. That's cool.
Yeah, so the DB Nuba DB PVW persistent volume claim is the first one that is using the OCS storage class. Do you see that?
Yeah, yeah. Interesting. So yeah, this storage class is already in use.
Yep.
By Nuba.
So OCS is kind of like using itself to provide
That's beautiful.
underlying storage.
That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, now you just had it open, the storage classes. Besides the thin storage class, which we had before, we also have the OCS storage classes where we have CFFS, RBD, and RGW, and then we can use these to provision different kinds of storage. Like, do we want RWO? Do we want block volumes? Or do we want a file system that we can share among different pods? Or do we want object storage? And with the object storage approach, we're actually have a very unique feature where just like persistent volume claims, we can create object bucket claims that will make us request access to the object storage.
I'm just gonna pull that up real quick. Object bucket claims. So if I wanted to create one, like literally just type in a name, Chris claim, storage class. I pick the.
Well, you can use Nuba or yeah.
Could I use Nuba?
Yeah. That one just appeared because it finished the installation.
And there we go. There's my endpoints and everything.
Yeah. And these are in the backend. These are available for developers in secrets and in a config map, so you can easily use that. Actually, in the document that we might be using later, there's an example for using an object bucket claim.
Nice. Okay, cool. Let's push forward here. We only got about 20 minutes left. I'm not sure how much you wanted to cover in this first episode. So
yeah, go back
like
to
we've done a lot already.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, I just want to show how easy it is. We have all these features in OCS, all that possibilities that you can do, but on the other hand, we've made it super simple to use. Like you saw, it's fairly easy to install. Yeah, do that.
It's ready.
It's fairly easy to install. And if you go over there on the left overview, you also see that OCS is not only easy to install, it's also tightly integrated into OpenShift. You see, you always had this. Yeah, it's probably not completely finished with the installation. But now what you also added was you do have dashboards for the persistent storage and the object service.
Nice. Like,
you want to click that?
That I feel like is just the powerful part in itself. Yeah. Hell yeah. Like, it's not clickable yet. It's waiting.
No, further
if
up,
it goes green.
you see below.
Oh, the persistent storage. Yeah. So OCS cluster waiting. Sure. Data resiliency. It's good. Wow. Here's all the IOPS latency throughput. Wow.
And these are all
and that's all just baked in.
Yeah, this is all baked in. You didn't have to do anything, and this all comes into the Prometheus instance that is within OpenShift. So when you installed OCS, you also installed a couple of default alerts, and with these alerts, you're pretty much automatically already monitoring your cluster. There's nothing externally that you need to hook up. And if you set up your Prometheus instance to alert you, then you're automatically also alerted for anything that regards OCS by default.
Cool. This is pretty awesome. So what else can you show me?
So what else can we do?
Did our change it all? I'm just gonna see here. Oh, 8 vSphere, 5 AWS, 5 bare metal. Okay, cool.
A lot of vSphere people.
Yeah, which makes sense, right? Like VMware is one of our big partners. Yeah. Let's see.
What we could do is we could go to the document and you could try out one of the examples. Like you were curious about the OBC, so we could try the OBC.
You talking about over here in your Go room?
Yeah. Click on General Deploy and Use.
I hit home. Sorry. General Deploy and Use.
And then you can go to 6. Chapter 6 is about the multi-cloud gateway.
Nice. Okay. Whoa, hang on. Something just happened to my audio. Can you hear me okay?
Still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Weird. Like everything's louder all of a sudden. That is very unusual. Okay. Cool. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. So yeah, like I can just run this real quick and see what happens here. Get out of this. Hello, nurse. Oh, if you haven't heard, Animaniacs is coming back. Whoops.
That is unfortunate.
So, okay. Nuba's not installed on this box. That's fine, I guess. I have root, so what is this?
That is weird.
Multiple scrolls. This is unusual. All right, so it's rel. All right, hang on. DNF install. Wow. Why does it do that? It's because it doesn't want me to do that. Hang on. I can just make this a little bigger. How about that? I'll get rid of these. So it looks weird on your screen, but yeah. It's not. Is this a package that like is default available? Otherwise, we're just wasting much time here.
I'm just going to quickly log into your terminal and.
I see you.
Do this.
That works. I always like that.
Yeah, the installation of how to install Nuba is also in that same guide.
Okay,
and then
that's good.
Obviously, this.
I think I can. There we go.
Yeah,
Always.
now make it executable and then move it into place. Now you should be able to use it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you. Make sure you destroy these secrets whenever they're created or however they're created. Cool. So yeah, like there's all of our storage fun. Let's see what's going on up here. CRD status exists. Operator status exists. Optional. Oh, whole bunch of fun stuff that you can plug into Nuba. That's cool. S3, Azure, whatever you want, throw it at it. Nice.
Yeah, and so in the beginning, it checks what the installation looks like, if everything is working in order, and then further down you get all the information about your object storage cluster that you need, like the S3 addresses. So there's like external addresses if you want to connect something from outside of your cluster, and there are also internal addresses that you can use from within your cluster that obviously will be a little faster if you're using these for your pods.
Right.
And your admin S3 credentials, with which you can pretty much do anything. And then if you go all the way down, you already see your CRISP claim that you created earlier.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up that console real quick. But yes, I
yeah,
found
the
this.
console is actually pretty nice too.
Yeah, I wanted, like, I should have broken that out in a separate tab to let that load. There we go. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, there's my CRISP claim right here, and the console's loading slowly but surely because Bangalore to Detroit. And then we can throw that up here in just a second once it's done loading. But yeah, like the S3 endpoints here, all that fun stuff is right here for you to consume.
And if you go on, it will guide you through how to do the object bucket claim on the command line. So you can use Nuba to create an object bucket claim.
Do I even need to do this OpenShift? No, I don't need to do this OpenShift storage part, do I?
Well, you can do Nuba obviously create. That's the command before that.
Chris, read. Yeah. I swear I pasted.
Well, it's a LISO, right?
Okay.
I put you on
Here we go.
up to the test.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, here
and
it all
then
is.
For that OBC, you do get specific access credentials that will only be able to use that single bucket. And thus, you can use different buckets for different applications and be sure that they won't interconnect or do something to each other.
Right, like you won't end up on the evening news. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you do the OC get
unsecure
OBC,
bucket would be bad.
It is the YAML version of it.
No, really, it pasted, I swear. There we go. So yeah, there's the fun YAMLs for all you calendar-driven YAML engineers out there. Nice.
And now what your application would actually need is your AWS access key ID and the secret access key. And we do get that from a secret that was automatically created by Nuba that has the same name as the OBC. So if you scroll down, there's an OC get secret.
I'm scrolling.
A little bit further up.
I'm scrolling. It's slow though. Sorry. Using it. Okay, where's not that? There we go.
Is that still your Slack updating?
No, I don't know what's going on here. It's probably because I'm like, I've got everything open and I'm screen sharing, but yeah. Yeah, my CPU is like pegged. which is interesting because this is one of the new supposedly faster MacBooks. But yeah, everything's like grinding to a halt all of a sudden. So let me close some stuff.
But
you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Let me close all this nonsense. All right. Give me some more RAM, please.
So inside of that secret, you'll find that key data, and I think you scroll past it.
There it is, right? No. Where? Is there a file?
Where is the data?
Yeah. Where did it go? What am I looking for?
Anyways,
I'm looking for
you
secret,
can see
right?
it on the left side. Yeah.
Okay.
You can see it on the left side. So that's how it should look like.
Okay.
And
so there should be keys here, but there's not. Interesting. Right?
this is just the managed fields that will show
okay.
you what this is capable of. Anyways, it should look like on the left side, and you get your access credentials from there. And then when you look at the config map, which is the next command, that will give you like where to connect to when you're using your application.
So it
Theoretically,
should look like that. In theory, it is not. Is that because it's not fully running yet, essentially?
No, it should be running by now. I mean, it created these two things. Now it's just
right. Like, Sorry, I just hit refresh on that.
I think we have JQ here.
You thought wrong. The price is wrong.
Well, fortunately, we have JSON path, right? Who doesn't like JSON path?
Oh boy. There we go.
There you go.
Okay.
It's not super pretty, but I think, can't we use like Go template thing?
Yeah,
do you know the syntax for that?
No, I don't. You can't, like, the fact that you can doesn't mean I know the syntax. Like, I am terrible at memorization. So like, that's why I'm not a developer, because my syntax, like, I always have syntax problems. Always, right? Like, I don't know why. I just can't remember like certain syntaxes. So like, even like the simple stuff, like HTML, I might remember off the top of my head, but like setting up like a standard like CSS file even, or something like simple like Go templating, I cannot remember how to do it right.
I think it's super simple. You just have to add more curly brackets and minus, and there you are.
There you go. Okay.
So still not super pretty, but
okay. Cool.
But at least you see the data key is there. You get your information from there where you need to connect to. You have your bucket host, the bucket name. The bucket name obviously is not the name that you named the OBC, but it's related. You see your test 2.1 OBC. And test 2.1 OBC was the name of the OBC that we created earlier, the offshoot bucket claim. And then Nuva just added a unique string to it.
Nice. So I'm trying to get the Nuva console up, and it's asking me for login info. So that means I got to open Slack again, which here goes nothing. But yeah, in like the last few minutes here, what else did you want to cover?
Well, we could
drop this.
Could we do that?
Keep going here. So what does this do?
We could do the curl thing. That's the last thing in the in this OBC example. So, but what will do is it created a namespace, it created the object
Mhm.
bucket claim, and then a job, and that job will just run once, and that will just, yeah, container creating. Connect to the S3 endpoint and check it out using S3 command. And obviously that's empty, so it will show 0 files, but it will
Right.
show you how you can use the information from the config map and the secret to connect to the S3 storage.
You know what I think has screwed me up? Hang on. It's because I'm going back and forth between
No,
Mac
this is
and
fine.
Linux.
So you see the command that was executed was this long S3 command command. And all the information up there we got from the config map, and then it listed our bucket, the OBC test Nuba bucket.
Nice. Cool.
So if you wanted to hook up your, if you scroll a little bit up on the left, we can see what we applied a little further. Before the curl, we had this red text right there.
Yeah.
You see, we only had these environment variables that we got from a secret and a config map. And most applications that use S3 will be able to use these environment variables to automatically detect where to connect to with what credentials and all that. So theoretically, if you have an application, you just add this block of n, and then your application should be good to go, actually.
That's pretty awesome. Like, that's kind of powerful, right? Like, the fact that I just take this whole group of environment variables and I have storage. Like, that's great. And just off I go. Beautiful. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to give up on the Nuba management console, if you don't mind. Let's see. Why isn't this working? Shouldn't it just work with kubeadmin? Or do I actually need? Yeah, it says please enter a valid email address. That's weird. Do you have it tied into single sign-on anywhere? It's your cluster. I don't know what you did with
it. Where did I get it from? No, this is like a vanilla installation. I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything special? Because, like, yeah, it's very insistent. It needs an email address. Huh.
Oh, this is not bad. These are the credentials you got from the Nuba status.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So if you do Nuba status, it will give you user credentials that you can use to log in there, if you must. But yeah.
Normally you don't need to, right?
Normally you don't need to. You see that management credential? Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Let me just grab that real quick. Toss that in.
There was a question on the chat if I prefer internal or external mode, and I'd say it depends. So internal mode allows you to reuse the nodes that you already have for OpenShift, and theoretically you can run workloads on the same nodes that you have OCS running on in parallel. But if you like have a very large deployment and you want it super fast and you want to have the ability to maybe connect multiple OpenShift clusters to the same Ceph cluster, then you should go with external mode. So we have two options because there are two use cases to it.
Yeah. There's more than one way to store data, I like to say. So yeah, it's really dependent upon how your environment's set up, how you want to use it. Yeah, no, Chris, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming on. This has been highly informative for me, and I'm sure we've answered some questions for the audience, and this will be out there on YouTube forever. So if folks ever need a reference video, ta-da, they can see us clown through this. But just to show off the new
there's like, this is a recurring event. You're going to learn so much about storage.
I'm yeah. So this is just the beginning. This is what we do this every other week now. I forget. There's so many
Yeah, every
shows.
other week.
Every other week. Yeah. So, yeah, there's so many shows on the channel. I forget the cadence of them now, which is kind of funny because normally I could be able to used to be able to tell you right off the top of my head. But yes, in 2 weeks, same bat time, same bat channel, we're going to talk about more storage stuff, and hopefully I will have some storage stuff to show you based off what I've learned today. But just real quick, here's a Nuba storage console. It shows you that we've got this one S3 claim, the nodes, petabytes use, you can connect applications through here. There's all kinds of fun stuff that we can in a future show. I'll stop sharing. No, I don't want to annotate. I want to stop sharing. There we go. Thank you. But yes, so Chris, thank you very much. Thank you to the audience for tuning in. Thank you for answering our poll. It's very enlightening. We know kind of where to steer ourselves in the future with this. So yeah, that'll be super useful to get that data and actually put it to use as far as like things we cover in what order. So yeah, great to have you, Chris. Thank you again, and look forward to seeing you here in 2 weeks. And I'm sure we'll be talking in between now and then as I try to do things on my own cluster. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone,
Sure.
and have a good one out there, everybody.